My name is Anne-Marie Duffy, and as Pete said, I've been involved for 11 years. I work the business with my husband, Lee, and oh my God, I'm out of breath. How can you be out of breath signing your name? So when we got introduced, I was a biomedical scientist, Lee was a contract sales manager, and I received a text message off Clair Fox, and it was the guinea pig message. 11 years ago, the guinea pig message. I said yes, didn't know what she was on about, but I thought I'll help her. And we started as customers. You know, I was always tired, always struggling with me weight and stuff. We just got started on products, not interested at all in the business, especially standing on stage. But, you know, people just wanted to know what we were doing, so we just kept referring people to Clair and Dan. And Claire said, you actually qualify for discount, but you've got to come along to a meeting. So I went along to the meeting begrudgingly, and that was when me and Lee seen the bigger opportunity that Herbalife has to offer. So we decided to just do it really part-time, around our full-time jobs, and we grew quite quickly. We got to global expansion team in 11 months. And then we decided to go full-time Herbalife. So we grew quickly, like I said, 11 months to get team. And then we just spent the next 6 years just really trying to find our way of doing Herbalife. We weren't really doing much. We were trying, but not getting anywhere. We couldn't duplicate what we were doing. And actually, our business went backwards, okay? Lee had to go back and get a job. We were in debt from rental properties that we had, and we were just rock bottom. And then 4 years ago, we were introduced to the Breakfast Budget Club model by Clair and Dan. And we'd been watching Clair and Dan from afar, and we could see, yes, their business was growing, but they were happier. And that was what we wanted, because we were lost. And so we went and spoke to Clair and Dan. We saw what they were doing, and we said, we're in. And they said, okay, but you've got to master the basics. You've got to go back to the beginning, supervisor mentality, follow the pathway, plug people in, move them to supervisor, and by using the career ladder, create leaders to duplicate clubs. And that's what we did. And that's what we've been doing for the last 4 years. And that's how we've gone from not even picking up our Get Team check to now Pres Team 15K. This is the last 3 months total volume for us, profit, and new supervisors on all levels. And it's like a game. It's a game for us to see how many new supervisors can our organization duplicate. That's what it's all about. You've got to have a bit of fun with it. This is our club as of yesterday morning. And then this is what happens when you learn to duplicate what you're doing and create leaders. So 26 clubs on 3 levels and 33 on all. And I just want to give a massive shout out to every single one of these guys who are impacting their community in a huge way. So this is mine and Lee's vision. So we want 10 frontline tab team breakfast budget clubs, but that are able to duplicate themselves. That is the name of the game. It's not just about opening clubs, it's about opening successful, profitable breakfast budget clubs that are able to duplicate by using the career ladder. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. And this is where I am at my happiest, talking about the career ladder, okay? So it's time to roll up your sleeves. We're going to get into the nitty-gritty. So are you ready? Clair and Dan touched on this just earlier. When I was a scientist in the NHS, I was a professional. I was a professional in the workplace. And I also knew that if I wanted to be promoted up the career ladder in the NHS, then I had to do certain things in order to be able to be promoted. But we didn't bring any of that into our Herbalife business until we got involved in the breakfast budget clubs. And that was one of the very first things that we needed to change. We needed to raise our standards as professionals in the breakfast budget club model. And that, first of all, that mindset shift is what changed everything for us. And for me personally, I learned that it was about not how good that me and Lee could be, but how we could help develop and nourish other people's potentials. That was going to be the difference between us being okay and other people being successful. Because we can only open one club, and if we want to be able to duplicate clubs in different communities, we have to be able to develop leaders to do the same. So that's what it became for us, okay? So let's recap what the mission is. It's to help 10,000 people to get healthier. So we're purpose-driven. We know every morning what we're getting up for. And we're going to be able to do that by creating 100 profitable breakfast budget clubs, each with 100 customers in over the next 10 years. And we committed to that, and we promised ourselves no distractions. But in able to be able to open those other clubs, we needed the way to be able to take a club member all the way through to becoming a club owner. So another mindset shift for me and Lee was when someone walks into our club, up the stairs, we don't look at them as a potential club member. We look at every single person as a potential club owner, okay? And that's a massive mindset shift because we're not there. We can't judge who's going to be the next club owner. What we can do is treat everyone fairly, give them the same opportunity, and have a step-by-step plan on how we're going to get them to where they want to get to, not where we want them. Meet them where they are, build your relationships, nourish their potential, and they will decide where they want to go. Is that clear? Yes. Okay, fantastic. So you heard Claire and Dan talking about the blockages, and the first blockage was how to develop trainee coaches. So when you first open your club or you're in club and you're filling the funnel and you've got all these club members, if you're not proactively looking for your trainee coaches, you're going to end up with loads of members. You're going to be running around like a headless chicken, and your club's going to get stuck because no one's going to be able to leave. Okay? And you might be that person in that room right now. So I'm going to show you how we use the trainee coach program because we needed to be able to show our club members that there was a simple way for them to learn the skills of how to become a trainee coach in the safety of the club, learning as they were going along. And it was all around the 20-point checklist. And it's simple, practical skills. Dan touched on this, it's mastering the basics through tell, show, try, do. And club is so practical that you're in the room all the time with your trainee coach. You're showing them every single day you're in club how to look at food planners, how to make shakes, how to do things with the club members, take pictures, recognition. And you're going to hear all that this weekend. It helps them build the skills, the knowledge, the confidence, all while still learning how to get their first customers and put money in their pocket. And the most important thing is teaching them how to track the profits. Because it is so empowering to say to a brand new trainee coach, how much money did you make last month, profit? And because they're tracking it, they go, £250. And that is life-changing for people. That could mean that they could pay their rent on time. It makes a huge difference to someone's life, but they need to be able to see that they're getting paid for their efforts. It's so important. Plus also, the 20-point checklist is the first taste of responsibility for that trainee coach. I'm a bit of a stickler for people understanding responsibility for their own business in our club, yeah? Because me and Duff work together in the club, he's good cop and I'm bad cop, okay? So I always say to our trainee coaches, and they'll be listening and nodding, when I give them this checklist, I go, okay, This is your responsibility to be proactive in coming to us to get these signed off. You have to be the one that comes to us of a morning and goes, right, I need you to help me with this because this still needs to be signed off. I'm not going to be the one checking to see what needs to be done. Okay? And that's important because it shows the trainee from day one that it's their business, it's their responsibility. Okay? And we have minimum requirements to be a trainee coaching club. So there's quite a few ambassadors in here. So you might want to take a picture and go and have a little think about this. But these are the minimum requirements. 1 full shift a week. In our club, we're open 6:30 till 11. Or you can do 2 half shifts, and that's down to having a conversation with the club owner. Plug it into the Weekly Coaches Academy, because that's your night school. That's where you're going to learn. You're learning the practical skills in club, but you're also going to learn on the academy. And you are still needed and required to do your minimum 3 visits a week. But you are still allowed to use the heart to collect to get your free visits. That's important. Just because you're a trainee coach doesn't mean you start coming in once a week. Okay? And another thing is when you're a trainee coach, please, we've had trainee coaches in the past who've said, okay, I've got this person and they want to book in for a wellness evaluation, but I'm in work the times they can do, so can you do it? And they nod as if I'm going to agree. And I go, no chance. I'm not doing it. Be solution-driven. I say to them, you've got to think of, you're going to have to go back to that person and work out when you're going to be able to come in to do that wellness evaluation yourself. I'm not here to build your business. Okay? And the same goes for the reviews. So the second blockage is, okay, we got really strong on activating trainee coaches. And Lee's going to cover that tomorrow in more detail. Really strong. So we've got all these trainee coaches building their club members in our club. And then you go, well, hang on a minute. They don't want to break away and open their own club. So you kind of now have got really strong trainee coaches, but no one's willing to break away, and your Club 100 is coming up quick, yeah? Because you've only got space for 100. And that's what Claire and Dan touched on, is when then there was a few little amendments, and that's when the Nutrition Club career ladder evolved. And one of the first things that we used as a gauge was when a trainee coach gets up to 10 to 15 club members in your club, it's like a little flag comes out. Time to have a conversation, yeah? Because then we need to sit down with the trainee coach and go, right, when you started, you said this was your intention. Now we need to know, has it changed? Do you now see yourself as a club owner, or do you still want to stay as a trainee coach? Because then the conversation comes, well, if they say, well, I still want to just be a trainee, I've got no intention of moving, then the conversation might have to become, well, when you're 10 to 15, I'm going to actually ask you to stop inviting people into club because we need the space to develop junior partners. And there's a club owner in here. I've just seen her. We had that conversation. It's Debbie Cooper. She's at the back. And she was building away. She was an amazing trainee in club. She had team, she had trainee coaches underneath her. And we were looking at these circles and these club members, and I was like, Debs, what's the vision? She was like, I'm happy just being a trainee coach. And I said, okay, I'm going to have to stop inviting now, Debs. And I remember, she was like, you can't stop me inviting. I went, I can. And we laughed about it, and I said, so you've got 2 days to go away and think, and you come back to us and tell us what your next vision is. And now she is the proud club owner of Feel Good Nutrition. But when she came back to us and said, okay, I want to be a club owner, we then went, okay, it's time to promote you to junior partner. And that's the mentorship program. And the mentorship program is a temporary role because it only lasts 3 to 6 months, okay? But I got asked last night, and this is a really good question, is what do you do if someone's working a full-time job and can't afford, they're relying on that income and they can't afford to just leave their job to work 4 to 5 shifts in club as a junior partner? So I'm going to use Val Balfour as an example, because Val was a trainee coach in our club, but she was a lecturer, an IT lecturer. But she always had the vision that she wanted to be a club owner, but she just couldn't commit to doing the 4 to 5 full shifts because she was still doing this lecturing job, which she hated, but it was essential at that point. So we sat down and put a plan in place. And the first thing we said to Val was, okay, you want to be a club owner, which means you've got to be full-time in Herbalife. So how much money do you need to be earning, profit, to be able to walk away from your job? And she wrote that down. And that was her first intention. Okay, that's the long-term goal. That's where we're aiming for. Then we said to her, okay, how much do you need to be earning profit to go part-time or drop hours in your job? She wrote that down. So Val had a plan. So we said to her, because we know that you're working towards being a club owner, and that's the long-term goal, we'll allow you to keep bringing club members in past that 10 to 15, but you've also got to commit to doing more shifts in club. So it's not keep bringing people in and still only do one. It's you've got to be able to match, because you've got to look after those club members, but also you've got to be able to earn the income in order to be able to phase out from your full-time position. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay. And now Val's in the room. She's a Get 2.5 member, and she's got 5 clubs in her organization. So the Junior Partner Mentorship Program, like I said, it's temporary. It's 3 to 6 months, because then the next step is you're a club owner. You graduate, and you know, you open your club. And for me, the junior partner position, I love it, because this is where we get to the nitty-gritty. We get serious about them becoming the mini club owners in your club, okay? And my junior partners that have been in our club, they must have hated me, I would say, pretty much the whole time that they were a junior partner, because everything they came to me question-wise, I would turn back to them. Because we wanted to be able to set them up mentally, to be able to, when they open their own club, there's no one they can run to ask questions. And that for me is important. So from day one as a junior partner, I'm going to be asking you questions. So like I would be in club and they'd go, the light bulb in the fridge has gone out. What do I do? I've no idea. I'm not here. You're a club owner. What do you do yourself? And they go, okay, and go away. You know, we want to teach them how to become solution-driven. You know, what happens if the payment machine didn't work one day? I got a phone call. I was like, I don't know. You're in a club on your own. What you do? Think quick. Think on your feet. You need to be able to know how to take payments from your club members if no one else is there to tell you. And that's what I love about it, really helping develop the leaders, but also being like that solution-driven mindset. And we have like, you know, like we have the 20-point checklist for the trainees. We have an 8-point checklist for the junior partners, really helping them get into the mindset of being a club owner. We're going to help them understand that they need to build 30 to 40 club members and the 2 to 3 trainee coaches. And again, you might be a trainee in here and think, okay, what do I have to do to be a junior partner? These are the minimum requirements for a junior partner. You have to have brought in a minimum of 10 frontline club members yourself, consistently filling the funnel and inviting. It doesn't stop as a junior partner. You've committed to the 4 to 5 full shifts a week. You're still plugging into the academy. You've completed the 20-point trainee checklist. But for me as well, me and Duff, it's not a given position. It is up to the club owner who gets promoted to junior partner based on their work ethic, their values, how much of a team player they are, okay? Because we take our role really seriously about developing strong leaders who are going to go out into the community and open a breakfast budget club, okay? So I know I sound quite serious, but for me it is, yeah? And this is the business plan. And like Claire said, we have all these little business plans up in our club because they're great visuals. Because while we're sat around the tables talking to club members and even trainee coaches, and they say, okay, well, what's the next step? Or how does someone open their own club? We have all the visuals to be able to say, here, here, and here. It's kind of like like QVC, yeah? But it's about build the magic numbers, and we are always using these diagrams with our junior partners and club owners for them to be able to visualize what their business looks like in relation to the business plan. And a junior partner will build their 30 to 40 club members with their 2 to 3 serious trainee coaches in your club. They have 3 to 6 months in order to develop as a mini club owner in your club, and it's the safety of your club where they can learn, they can make mistakes, and it's okay because you're there to help them. But when they're ready to graduate, as Claire and Dan always say, they pick up their people, their mini club in your club, and sidestep and open in their own club in profit. And that is how we do it to help create strong, profitable breakfast budget clubs. And if you look, the career ladder is a building block of every little cluster to be able to get to Club 100. So if you can learn and master the career ladder and always be using the gauges, using the magic numbers, having open communication to be able to put plans in place, this is what you're building towards. And when it happens, it takes your purpose to a whole other level. Because when you see your team, your leaders duplicating, growing in skills, confidence, and going out and duplicating clubs, it just absolutely makes your heart burst. I absolutely love it. And it's almost like a little pat on the back. Okay, good job, we've done it. We've helped someone else go, and they've flown the nest, yeah? And what I want everyone to do is to take a picture of this, because what I want you to be able to think of over this weekend and when you get home is to really see where you see yourself, or what is the vision for you with regards to the Herbalife marketing plan. And next to it is how many breakfast budget clubs you need to have open in 3 levels. And I want you to be able to use the career ladder, the pathway, and be able to commit to a long-term plan to becoming a professional in the breakfast budget club model, to be able to get to where you want to get to by helping other people. And just to finish off, just my little top tips. Focus on building relationships and nourishing potential. Meet people where they're at. Have the career ladder and the little plans, the junior partner business plan, the Club 1 owner business plan, and the marketing plan in breakfast budget clubs up in your club as visuals to be able to show your club members and just have conversations. Identify club owners by using your trainee coaches, your gauges, the junior partner mentorship program, and use the career ladder as a step-by-step guide. And just, most of all, be patient, but enjoy every minute.